Hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. This is Doodleman149, and today I'm bringing you the third and final cave walkthrough for Scorched Earth. This cave is titled the Ruins of Nosti, which I can only assume is this giant city out in the desert. Get a pretty decent look at it. Some more ruins over there. The entrance to this cave is this church, which is basically in the center. If you peek under the map, you can kind of see the entrance right down there on the bottom left. And to give you guys a perspective, the cave is all the way down here. So, I mean, the caves are all kind of evenly spread on an angle from top left to to bottom right. So, I mean, they're decently well spread out. Not like the island at all. Ooh, crap. So, of course, walking into the cave, you're going to lag in here. And right down here, as you can probably see underground, is the gate to the cave. You have to crouch in, which makes bringing in any outside tames pretty difficult, unless they're small or shoulder mounted. Granted, this is, of course, no tame, because I don't really play tame, but people will argue that this cave is the hardest strictly because you cannot bring tames in. I think it's the hardest just because it's actually difficult in here. Like, enemies can actually be tough and overwhelming at times. Now, you're going to have a pretty long walk down to where the fighting actually starts. So I'll take this time to introduce you to some of the threats you'll find in this cave. You're going to find basically everything you'd find in a Scorched Earth cave. You're going to have mantises, millipedes. I mean, if you consider Akatina a threat, it's a threat. Rubble golems, spiders, scorpions, but you're not going to find any mammals down here, like no saber-teeth, no dire wolves. If you haven't gotten it before, this is the Raya tablet, number 7. Really easy to get if you're just going for the explorer notes. You don't even have to fight anything. Things I would recommend for this cave would be a decent melee weapon, much as my pike here. You don't really need bolas. A ranged weapon is going to be excellent, such as my bow and grapples. Grapples are pretty much going to get you out of sticky situations you may find yourself in, and one in particular I will bring up later. You're also going to want to bring water. I currently brought 3 canteens with me, just because there's no water source down here. So. To start, it's pretty simple here. You got threats on the left, generally, and it kind of swings around that way to go right, to basically just end up down here. So you can pretty much avoid all that if you just want to kind of drop. I will warn you about mantis leaps, which you should know about if you've ever played Scorched Earth or anything, you know, on Rag in the desert. Give me a moment, folks. I'm going to adjust my gamma so you can maybe see a little better. There we go. I prefer medium gamma because it makes the map look nicer. But I understand you guys need to see things, and I'm going to see things, so higher gamma is better for that. Honestly, for me, herein lies the biggest issue. Millipedes. Okay, maybe not that big an issue. Because millipedes can melt your armor is basically what I'm saying. It's got nothing to do with me one-shotting these guys. Huh? I thought some of these would hit. I can see it sitting there. Hello? Oh, it's obsidian. Alright. There are 2 potential loot drop locations in this room. One is going to be right there on one of those pillars, I forget which one, and one will be right there on that ledge. We don't have any at this time, but I'm not really concerned about that. What I would be concerned about is that fella right there. Can't see him? No, I'm not talking about Mr. Snake up there. I'm talking about that rubble golem. You gotta be able to recognize those funny rocks and avoid them if you can, because honestly C4 is kind of a huge waste. Oh, by the way, the skin you get at the end of this cave, this Scorched Sword skin, I find it a lot better than the Scorched Pike skin, but I still think the Scorched torch is the best skin from this map. Alrighty then. So off we go to kill mantises. So, again, just like Grave of the Tyrants, if you have a buddy with really high weight, you'll have lots of resources in here. I wonder if I missed any explore notes. Oh, if you do want to... I'm going to ignore them. If you do want to check out more of the story, as you can see, these caves are heavily linked to the lore of this map. I feel like he's going to drop on me. And in case you guys don't know what I'm talking about, that Megalania right there. He's staring me down. Anyway, Manticore is the final boss of Scorched Earth. Unlike the Dragon, Megapithecus, and the Broodmother. Wow. I've had decent loot for being low-level mantis. So you can definitely look in these caves and see things that develop, or like the story behind this map. Alright. Here is the first of 2 branching paths in here. I mean, they both look pretty crappy at the moment, to be perfectly honest. Might as well deal with my only threat in this cave. Actually, rock golems are my only threat. These guys are just very... Of course. Alright guys, I'm sorry I potatoed real hard there. I think I was really thrown by the first one being such high level. That is why you want to avoid millipedes. Look at me. Broke my gloves, broke my hat. I'm certain it did a number. It really damaged my other armor. That's why you want to avoid them. Also, you're thinking, Liam, you have 300% melee damage. Why didn't you just stab them? Because that blood they spit at you, obviously, when they bleed on you, is going to corrode the hell out of your weapons. And your armor even. Oh, hey. Again, folks, in case you didn't remember, what is the #1 tip for dealing with mantises? Avoid that first jump. Because that's pretty much their deadliest hit. If you can avoid that, they're not extremely tough. Now, why am I making a set of ghillie armor now? Well, in case everything kind of breaks, I want to have some backup armor. Plus, ghillie reduces the aggro range of creatures, well, aggressive creatures around you, so you can sneak more effectively if you're wearing a full suit of ghillie. My second reason is to drop, or did I spell that wrong? Organic. There we go. To drop all this, because I accidentally ate that once. And if you know anything about organic polymer, most people think, oh, it just kills you instantly. No, it does 500 points of damage instantly. Which might as well be... Buddy. Piss me off here. Anyway, this... Yes. The snakes present an excellent show for the backup fight technique. They can't reach you. Keep dishing out damage. I like the pike because unlike the sword, it has knockback. Knockback is very useful for keeping foes at bay. Plus, just has longer reach, so you can hit enemies before they can hit you most of the time. I wouldn't recommend everyone do this. Why am I chowing down on raw meat? Doesn't that hurt you? Yes, but I have 400 health, so I'm not exactly worried. Anyway, after those first 2 drop spots, this is going to be the next loot crate drop. Look at that. How convenient. I now have me a new hat. Stylish, I know. Oh, and in case you didn't know, if you paint a skin, you can move it to any piece of clothing that will accept that skin, and that skin will remain painted. You don't have to paint each individual thing that you throw the skin on. Alright, I'm gonna go to the right side just to show you the options here. On the way back, I'll take the other path because it's shorter and just to show you the other end. And as in any cave, seeing as these bats are semi in the wall, always be wary of things coming out of walls. Happens more often than you think. Just be aware. Also, if you are using a bow like I do, I would recommend looking through these bags you find on the ground, simply because they can oftentimes hold arrows. So, you don't really have to craft any, and you usually come out with more than you've used if you use them correct. See? Look at that. Easy peasy. You see what I mean, though? How am I to deal with this? Just headshot that guy? What are all of these? I am unsure how to engage. Can I not engage? There we go. The only one in there? Wow. Watch out for... It's a mantis, isn't it? Oh, no, it's not. Okay. And if you... Just a decent technique right there. If you're unsure of what's in a cave, but you can hear something, you can orbit cam through the walls. Fuck you, man! Oh. It scared the shit out of me. I accidentally crouched. Just gotta be aware of those sounds. Somehow that Titan bow was completely silent. Always be aware. See? Got a bat? Where is... See? Bat's in the wall. I don't exactly know how you're supposed to deal with that until it comes out of the wall. Just kind of got to take your lumps sometimes. Alright. Getting on to the third loot drop spot. How did I not see them? I am just being awful this run. I apologize, guys, for being so bad at this. Oh, I am fucked. Don't be afraid to tuck and run. The situation calls for it. It's not running away, it's a tactical retreat. I wish I could just stab these things. Jesus Christ! Not even that high a level. Gotta maintain those jumps. They will guarantee. Look at that. Alex, I hit him with a hit. In case you guys didn't know, I don't know if I mentioned this in the last video, the Arthropolera, the millipede, after the update that lets it damage tech and every other structure, they take 3 times headshot damage, so they're much, much easier to kill with ranged weapons. Jesus Christ. Bugs in this cave, man. Alright. Third drop spot. That was not to be so stupid. It's right down here under some more ruins. Again, watch for bats and the like. strangely enough, the Akatina that inhabit these caves can be very, very useful for blocking attacks. What, are you coming at me or what? I would also recommend coming down here with food, but seeing as I'm a potato. Look at that. Mastercraft tanks. I also recommend sleeping bags because they're easy to make. You can pick them up if you don't need them. And they offer nice instant respawns. Okay. Dodge that leap. Basically, all of their damage. Murder the hell out of them. Wow, 2 of my swings. You guys, on the other hand. Second one didn't register. Shabby. Access, please. Wow. Wasn't worth it. I think I aimed at the wrong pirate. Not tell which was the head. For some reason these bats don't seem to be aggroing me through the walls so often. You always gotta be ready. I would just be ready for sky creatures in general. Like, even if they're not sky creatures, I've had mantises come out of the ceiling at me. Of course, you gotta worry about millipedes hanging up there. Also, you are at full bow strength before your camera starts shaking. If you need a good accurate shot, fire that bow before it starts wobbling all over the place. If you use the bow enough, you will know this point of max strength. Freaky. Get out of here. I'm trying to make it easy for you. Wow. Anywho. Ah, yes. Our best buddies, the rubble golems. Just gonna casually avoid that fella. This cave has a rather big pit in it. It's kind of, you know, over that ledge yonder. If you fall down there, you are not getting your stuff back. It's a lost cause. Can't grapple to it, can't do nothing. So, to avoid that pit of shit, you could just grapple up the right. It'll get you to your target destination much, much quicker. Lag a little bit. There we go. Let's see if you had somebody with a lot of weight. More resources to grab. Grab all this obsidian. There's some crystal. Of course, when available. Backup pipe is excellent maneuver. Yourself a lot of hide and meat. Don't forget to check the bags for arrows. I also take, like, trophy pieces, I call them, off of bodies, just to, I don't know, remember my victories. Alright. We are almost to the artifact, folks, and I will try and make this as smooth a process as possible. Wasn't its head? These are funky bodies, man. Key to defeating mantises, dodge the leap. Which, I don't know what I got stuck on, but dodge the leap. Ah. Here's your buddy. Your mate boosted from something. I'll try and get you a little better view of the pit here. This is another reason to have grapples. Because you fall in there, you're, like I said, you're toast. Now that, a very important part of this map is that loot crate there. It's not actually there. I mean, I'm sure it is, it's rendered in the game, but the death ceiling of falling in this pit to the point where you die is just above it. That crate is basically there to troll people who want loot. That crate is always red. You can never get it. And it's literally there to lure you to your death. So please, folks, please, don't fall for it. You will not be happy. So I could have sworn it was the second one. Alright, the second Explorer note I know about in here, which, as far as I know, this is the only cave with multiple Explorer notes, is right over there. It's kind of in the corner next to that odd building down here. So if you do want it, you can always grab it. You can take a different path to get there. I just kind of avoided that whole direction because it's a lot more treacherous, and I don't feel like losing my stuff. Ah, speaking of treacherous, while I am here, in addition to that red drop, there's that series of pillars there. It may look semi-solid, but you have to jump between all three of those. And again, a fall is fatal. So be wary. That not hit. I would say, I assume this mantis is just ignoring us. Dodge the jump. Slice. Dead. Ah, that's where you are. I don't know where you came from. And I am unsure why, but the temperature here drops to 32 degrees. While out here, just beyond the steps, it is a balmy 57. I don't understand the reason. But just note it's cold in here, and if you're low on health, you might freeze to death. I wouldn't worry about it. And here we are. We have the Scorched Sword skin, and the Artifact of the Destruction. Easy way to get to the artifact. It's no big shakes, really. If you take the other path, there's a whole mess of things that can get caught on those weird spires. You might run into rock golems. I would avoid it. I would spend the one grapple to take this shortcut. I believe it is 100% worth it. Turn path is pretty simple and straightforward. Nothing too crazy about it because we were just here a minute or so ago. The only thing to watch with this is things will have respawned at this point. See? Got millipedes and bats that have respawned. Oh, well. Just about to make a comment about knowing the drop on the bow. Just hit it real hard. There we go. I'm just gonna peek the corner. So I don't have many arrows left, and I'd rather just avoid the millipedes, but there's multiple millipedes. I think the main issue with this cave is just the sheer number of enemies in it that I can't seem to hit. Is that that's a Titan boa? I thought you were a millipede, man. And of course, the backup Titan I still recommend as the finest method for dealing with things like Titan berries. But if you got an Ascended Sword or something else ridiculously powerful and really high melee damage, just chop them up. I mean, the backup pike, it could be considered more of a like a last ditch maneuver. Like you have a crap pike and you don't have the ability to quickly dispatch them. That's a lot of meat. I would just chop them. If you have good weapons, mind you. Now we're going to take the right path back, which coming in would have been the left path. It's much shorter, let me tell you. I don't know where that other makes. Super simple. Dodge, millipede. Buddy, piss me the fuck off. Always keep that jump game strong. Now, had I gone the left path, shit. Things, of course, have respawned. You gotta watch out for that. Anyway, if you want a short, sweet, to the point path in, take the left path when you come down. It's super short. Ooh. See? And we are right back to the first loot drop. Well, technically third loot drop location. Now for exiting here, this can be very tricky if you've managed to accidentally lower rock golems to the entrance of this, because you just plumb won't get out. You gotta be really fast, and most notably, have grapple. Bippity bop, bippity boo, and we're at it. A nice long relaxing run back. If you noticed, if you have good enough gear, or probably even just base gear, will have good enough hyperthermic insulation, you don't have, I didn't have to drink once this entire trip. So I have 3 canteens just in case, like something went awry and ended up pinned in a corner, or maybe even superheat happened. But I didn't need it. I also did not need my massive amount of C4. That was just in case I ran into a rock golem I could not avoid. And we are back in the church, folks, so that's it. That's the third and final walkthrough for the Scorched Earth Caves. Of course, I do it in the no tame fashion, because that's all I do, and in this cave you kinda have to go no tame. Unless you wanted to be, I don't know, extremely patient and put an egg in there and raise it in the cave. I don't know why you would. Seems a little too much for what it's worth, because as you can see, just being a person, it was easy enough. So, I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, you can hit that thumbs up. You can trigger those bells. Maybe you'll get some notifications from us when some more videos upload. And hopefully you'll check out the other 2 cave walkthroughs I have for this map. We have the Old Tunnels first, Grave of the Tyrant second, and this will be the third for the series. I'll leave those links down in the description. And thanks for watching. I will see you guys later.